Welcome back into Rounding Third Baseball, episode 221. Does the superstar get traded? I'm Nick. We have Harrison tonight. How we doing, Harrison?
Excellent. How we doing, Nick?
Doing pretty well. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, all the wives out there that allow us to come on here and talk baseball every night or every Sunday and Thursday night and deal with our obsession of baseball. So
And
we
all the wives out
appreciate it.
there, and all the wives out there who take care of husbands who are basically just grown children, anyways.
Yeah, which is all of us in this comment section and on this show. So
Yep.
we are definitely in that group with you.
Yep.
So hope you guys all spoiled the females in your life. So all right. Before we get into the show, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also follow on Instagram, Rumble, and TikTok. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We also have our affiliate sponsor links. You can find these on the tops of all of our socials at Dick's Sporting Goods, MLB Shop, and Lids. So if you buy products through any of these companies, please use the links on the tops of our socials. We get a nice little kickback with no additional cost to you. So if you go buy your kids' equipment at Dick's Sporting Goods and you use our link, we get a nice little kickback and you get what you need. So please use those going forward. And thank you to everyone who already has.
Yeah, appreciate you.
All right. And our Rounding Third merch. It's just a great way to get our name out there and to support us. We have t-shirts, sweatshirts. We have tumblers. They're pretty sharp looking. I mean, I use this thing everywhere. It's awesome. But there's some blue ones. There's some green ones on there. And if there isn't anything on there that you guys like, just let us know. We can put something on there. So, yeah, we appreciate everybody that has shown support by buying merch through our store. And it's Rounding Third Baseball on Etsy. All right. Here we go. I know we've been kind of kicking this dead horse. We talked about it on the Boston show. We talked about it last Thursday when it all came out. But here we go. Rafael Devers this week. So we all know what happened last week when he came out and said the comments about the whole first base move. Executives then flew out to Kansas City to meet him at Kauffman Stadium. Breslow, Henry, Kennedy, all of them. Breslow knows that the move wouldn't be easy or immediate, but it would open up a roster spot for Yoshida or pull up Anthony and use the DH for the off day for the outfielders, kind of rotate him through that DH spot. What are your thoughts on this, like real quick? I know we have been talking about Rafael Devers ad nauseum, but does Devers end up getting traded? And we'll kind of run through some teams after this to see where a fit could possibly be if he does.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just be a parrot of last week and say I don't know how he comes back from this. He's got teammates that were, so apparently teammates made comments to him kind of during that interview, even just saying stop talking about this. He did it anyways. A small group of veterans met with him the day after. My guess is that some combination of Bregman's story and Duran. Basically saying, dude, like, stop it, cut it out, get with the program, be a better teammate. Let's put this stuff behind us. Let's stop talking about it. And then you've also got the issue with the fans. I think he's going to be surprised with the fact that fans are going to back the jersey, not the player. We're Red Sox fans first. It's not the Rafael Devers show. So I think that's a problem. And he's got a front office that he's burned. And I don't know how the front office is ever going to trust him not to do this again, because I go back to, why do we even know about this conversation? This is a behind closed door meeting between Breslow and Devers. It never needed to be made public.
Yep.
And him making it public just shows a level of immaturity that you were, I think, not expecting and can't have from a guy that you picked as the face of the franchise. So I don't see how he comes back from this.
Yeah, and Forrest, I'm with you on Papelbon's comments. Yeah, Papelbon just pretty much said that, like, listen, if they tell you to go out and play first, go play first.
Yeah, put a glove on and get your ass in the field. That was basically it.
It's that easy. And Sean, you're not wrong. He's pulling a Jimmy Butler. He's kind of talking his way out of Boston. And I said it on the Boston show. I'll say it again. I hope when they get back to Fenway that the first at bat, that's all I'm calling for. Just the first at bat, fans stand up. They tell them exactly how they're feeling, and then we can cheer them the rest of the game. because he needs to hear it. He thinks the fans are on his side. And I mean, maybe I'm in the minority. I don't know. I don't think I am.
I've seen it everywhere. I mean, every page I've seen, every comment I've seen, I've not seen one yet supporting him. It is people that are just like, literally, dude, shut your mouth and go play baseball. Like, nobody wants to hear it. The team needs you. Be a better teammate. It's
Right.
just constantly that.
It's not like we're being like, hey, Devers, can you go fix our bullpen issue? Like, then I'm like, okay, dude, like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Or even like, go play center. Like, Rafael Devers in center. No, I get it. But it's an infield spot. And it's a glaring need for the Red Sox right now. The guy that you had filling in, Romy Gonzalez, is on the 10-day IL. Now, Nick Sogard?
Yeah.
If that doesn't scream we need a first baseman, I don't know what does.
Well, you saw his comment about that. Well, they need to do their job and go find somebody on the market.
It's crazy. All right. So
and I've heard some people say, well, maybe it was a translation issue. I don't think there's any other way to translate those words.
No.
I just is something lost in translation? Maybe, but directly calling out the GM and going on this little rant, you can't misinterpret that. That is what he said, because that is what he feels.
And going to the media doesn't get lost in the translation. That's your choice to go to the media and talk. You don't have to do that. There's nothing translation about that. Just don't go to the media. That's it.
Yeah. Well, and John, it's a great example of, kind of what Jimmy Butler did, which was same thing. Like, I'm not going to do all these things you asked me to do. You don't like it, trade me. I don't care. And the reports are that in the meeting in Kansas City, he didn't ask for a trade, but he also didn't say that he wouldn't be open to one.
Yeah.
And he's locked now in a power struggle with the front office, which I just don't see how that ends well for him.
Yeah. Cap it. It's the opposite corner. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, where with you, man?
And I wonder if Bregman said, hey, I'll go play first. And they said, hey, Devers, could you go back to third? Would he be saying the same thing? Probably. I don't think it matters what they asked him to do. I think the fact of the matter is he's still mad about the whole Bregman situation, and he's just going to be a pouty, whiny baby.
Yeah. Yeah, John, I'm not a Sox fan, and I'm pissed he's making millions while us regular folks struggle week to week. I mean, that is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. Like, we're avid baseball fans. That's why we sit on here and talk about it every week with you guys. And you guys keep coming back and talking. Like, we're avid baseball fans. We live and breathe it. And it can still make us upset with how much money they make. And we can still love the game. But go out and play the game. Right. I would be ecstatic with any opportunity I had. If I had enough talent to get to the MLB and my manager was like, I need you at third on Monday. I need you at second on Tuesday. I need you at first on Wednesday. I'll give you a day off on Thursday, but hey, I need you to come out of the bullpen on Friday. Heck, I'm going to do whatever he tells me to do.
Yep.
He is my coach, and he's trying to put my team in the best position to win. I don't get this.
Yeah. If you want me to bat left-handed and wear my uniform backwards and my socks inside out, okay.
Yep.
Like, if that's what needs to get done, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, as long as that paycheck comes in on Friday, and I'm happy. Yeah, baseball history dork. Yeah, they could have had Alonso. We'll move on from that because that would have been incredible. But
that would have solved the Red Sox position issue for a long time.
A lot of teams could have had Alonso, and he's looking like an NL MVP right now. That dude is crazy. And Captain, you're completely right. He's still hurt from the Bregman signing, and it's just silly. I don't understand being upset about having a premier MLB veteran that knows how to win come to your team. I would be so excited to get the winning culture back in Boston, and that's what Bregman brings. The work ethic. He's solid. He's not going to hurt you. I don't get it. You already got the contract, buddy. You have nothing else to play for except for to win. That's it.
Yep.
I'll never understand this.
Well, and we said this this spring, and also in the last couple of weeks, is you brought in better talent around Rafael Devers, and rather than him embracing it and being excited for the opportunity to go win, he was pissed that it was going to take away from his headlines. Yeah. That tells you everything you need to know about his mindset and what he's looking out for. He just cares about his stats, his headlines.
Yep.
And I go back to what I said last week, which is, what do you care more about, Rafi? World Series rings or what position you play? Because honestly, if we're going to win a World Series, that means I've got to play right field. See you out there.
Yeah. And this is it. This is all we've been
Al Davis
screaming for. Just win, baby. That's it. We're with you, John, 100%. It's crazy. And this is a massive point, John, right? He needs a role model. That it's crazy because you would think at this point Devers is one of the maybe if not the most veteran guy on the Red Sox
He's
at
been
this
there
point.
since 18. He's the only guy that remains from that 2018 team.
So he's the longest tenured Red Sox right now. He should be the lead guy. I think he's starting to see this kind of wither away. And even before this, right? We saw Jaron Duran in the year he had last year. His 23 was ridiculous, right? And you can see Duran almost kind of taking the lead of this team on the back of his play, right? And then you bring in another guy like Bregman, who isn't necessarily a raw leader, but he shows you how to lead a team quietly. He goes out and he does his job. He works hard. He does all the right things. Like that's another type of leader. And Devers is just kind of seeing that and never been that type of leader or a leader, period. It's looking like.
Well, let's go back to spring training even. Like Alex Bregman bought suits for the young guys. He would jump on the bus and go to spring training games on minor league games on his day off.
So hold on to that thought. Did you hear the real reason for that though? They were talking about it on the telecast.
No.
There was a pitcher that was pitching against those guys that he had never seen before.
Ah, okay.
So he was getting a scouting report on the pitcher. He was playing chess 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
But
there
either way, he still did it.
Yep. Then you got Trevor Story, who was mentoring Marcelo Mayer, who could at any point in time could take his job. And then you've got Rafael Devers all by himself on a backfield, taking quarter speed ground balls out of shape. And you're like, which one of these doesn't belong? Bregman just got here, and he's already hanging with everybody and embracing the younger players. Trevor Story's mentoring his replacement,
Right.
and Rafael Devers is MIA doing his thing. It's obvious that he's not that guy.
Yeah. Eating a donut between ground balls is what he looked like he was doing on the backfield. But anyways, all right. So Harrison and I are ready to ship this guy out. I think we're done with the headache. It would be a huge bat to replace in the middle of the lineup. I get that, but the headache's not worth it. And the Red Sox are never going to win if this is on their team. So if he does get dealt, where does he go? I have some potential teams that I could see fit. Do you guys see anywhere he could fit? So I say Mariners. Now, I know they have Jorge Polanco, and he's absolutely destroying the baseball right now in Seattle. That Seattle team's hot. Does Devers fit there at all?
I mean, does he fit there? Yeah. Do the Mariners have the budget for him? No. But I think he'd be great in that lineup. I mean, and he would rake in Seattle with those huge gaps. He'd probably hit fewer home runs, but he hit a ton of doubles there.
Yeah, I think with the contract, 3 teams it might have to be in the deal. I kind of agree with that. Well, does Colorado need him?
Colorado needs everything. But they can't afford him because they're still trying to pay Chris Bryant.
We'll get to Colorado in a few. So
I don't see the Mariners don't have the payroll to absorb him.
No money.
They're actually playing well right now and probably don't want to screw that up. Captain, we were totally with you. Our first reaction was send him to Colorado, let him just toil.
Yeah.
But there's no way. And I do think the Red Sox, back to the point about, the 3-team trade with that contract, the Red Sox are going to have to expect a lesser return because they're not trading from a position of strength. This is a disgruntled player, and GMs are going to see that and go, okay, what's he going to do when he gets here? And what am I really willing to give up to take on a guy who's mad about the situation? The Red Sox kind of have their pants down here. And, oh, by the way, I've got to eat this big contract, and hopefully the guy performs. So I'm not going to be able to give you as much given the circumstances.
Yeah. And we're kind of in the boat with you here, John. They need a new manager now as well. We're starting to think that his time is starting to come to an end for sure.
And 2 points on that. We just saw Alex Cora get into a kind of a pissing match to the media with Heimblum and eventually got Heimblum fired. Or, a parting of the ways because they had difference of opinion and direction. Either way, Alex Cora whined to the media on several occasions. He doesn't have the right things. They aren't making enough moves, blah, blah, blah. And then Heimblum got canned. Now, keep in mind, Heim Bloom has built this roster as well as most of this roster, as well as that whole stable of minor leaguers. So you're welcome. And Devers has only ever played for Cora. So really, he's all he knows. I mean, you can take the Ron Renicky year of 2019, but I don't think Renicky did much but just sit in the dugout and fill out a lineup card.
Right.
He's only really played for Cora. Like I feel like this is very much learning from his manager. Because Cora had a problem with Verdugo, had a problem with Bloom. He had a pitcher in 2022 he didn't get along with. I can't remember who it was to save my life. Cora has constantly had these little battles that he's fought, and in most cases won, because I think the Red Sox just love him.
Yeah.
But you've got to look, it's the fish rots from the head, and you've been 500 for a lot of years. Maybe it's time to just push the reset button here.
Yep, I'm with you. All right, Dodgers. The Dodgers always seem to take our bad contracts. So, and they have a plethora of bullpen arms. They could eat the contract because we know about that. They have the money to do so. So would the Dodgers be a viable option?
I think the Dodgers are always an option. They have an unlimited budget, and they have a kind of a comedy of talent.
Yeah.
So if you need a couple of arms, yeah, we can spare them. We got like 15. So sure, take a couple.
Yeah.
I think the only issue with the Dodgers is, where do you put him? I mean, my guess is you probably put him at third base and tell Max Muncy you're gonna have to find playing time. Maybe they have to dump Muncy back to us in the trade. But I think the Dodgers are absolutely an option because they have the ability to pull it off.
Agree. Now this one was interesting. The Phillies. Alec Boehm and that whole situation in the offseason, he's kind of been on a slow start. Do the Phillies call the Red Sox and ask if Devers is available?
I think the Phillies are so desperate to win that there's no way they don't. Alec Boehm was not wanted last year. He knows he's not wanted. He's just kind of playing it out there. I watched the Phillies game the other night. That dude looks like he is the most uncomfortable guy on the planet. He's in that lineup every night. If you watch, he's kind of off to the edge of the dugout. He's just kind of doing his thing. He's very much on the outside looking in. The problem with Boehm is that he's only signed through 2025. So you're trading for a rental, which might be okay because you can bring him in, see what he does. If he's terrible, you let him go. But I could see a situation where the Phillies send back an arm or two with Boehm and they take on Devers, and that makes that lineup just grotesque.
Yep. I was going to ask, do they send Christopher Sanchez or Ranger Suarez in that deal?
I don't think they want to, but I think they'd have to. I mean, Ranger Suarez a free agent at the end of this year? I feel like he is.
He might be. If not, he's close.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is if you're he's on a 1-year deal.
Okay.
So the hard part if you're Craig Breslow is you can't trade Devers for 2 1-year rental or 2 5-month rentals.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to find some way to get back. So maybe it's those two guys on expiring contracts with some prospects, but again, the Red Sox not trading from a position of strength, so that may be all they can get for somebody to take on that whole contract.
Yeah, it's fair. Tigers.
I think he would be great in Detroit. But if I'm Detroit, I'm really hesitant to bring somebody in and screw up the mojo we've got going with that young team.
Yeah.
And if I'm AJ Hinch, I'm going, I do not want that cancer in my clubhouse. Please don't bring him here.
Yep. I'm with you there. 1,000%. That's what we're almost word for word what I was going to say. Royals.
Same situation for the Royals. I think they've got a good thing going there. They've got a good core, still a younger group. I don't think you want to bring Devers into that mix. Okay. I think that group could handle it better than the Tigers because that team is so young. But again, for the Royals, I think it's going to be a budget issue. I don't think they can take on that whole contract, which maybe the end result is the Red Sox eat some of that contract to get a better return and just look at that as a way to trade dollars.
Would the Royals part with Vinny Pasquantino and that would solve the first base issue?
I doubt it.
You don't think so?
I mean, I doubt it. The only thing that would cause them to is if they feel like Jack Caglianone is closer to ready than we think. Because Caglianone is just destroying Double-A.
Yeah.
And is expected to go up AAA here very soon. And then is likely going to be a September call up and then likely on that roster next year. So if they think Caglianone is close to ready, or they can find a temporary stopgap, but that team is trying to be competitive this year. I don't think they want to do anything that's going to set them back.
Yep.
So I don't know that you trade Pasquatch. And I don't know who else plays first if you do let him go. Maybe you slide. I mean, you've already got Jonathan India kind of playing out of position. You've got guys all over the place.
Yeah. Any others that you could see possibly a trade?
I've seen a lot of people online saying they think that a team like the Diamondbacks may be in the market for a bat.
So I was literally just looking at that, right? Because what is the one thing that we have said the Red Sox need other than bullpen? A right-handed bat.
Right-handed bats.
Suarez, 7-year, $66 million contract extension with the Reds. And then he signed. Did he sign an extension with the Diamondbacks?
I don't.
He is
so.
through. He's at the end of this year, so 2026. So he's a free agent at the end of 26, or in what is it, 2025. The club option was picked up, so he's unrestricted after this. So he would be a rental as well. But I was going to say,
and
that would be a right-handed bat.
Yeah, and I don't see the Diamondbacks necessarily making a big push to re-sign him. So that might be one of those where they just kind of let it run, and then he's gone at the end of the year. I think Devers would be an upgrade in terms of consistency. Suarez obviously has that crazy high ceiling. I mean, you just never know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I've heard people say the Diamondbacks. I've heard people say the Cubs. I just don't know I don't think the Cubs are going to want to move guys like Bush or Shaw to make that work. And it also depends on if teams are confident he can play third base again. I don't know that teams are confident he's ready to go out and play third base every day.
What about the Mets? They have an indispensable payroll. You have Brett Beatty came up to fill up that third base hole. What about the Mets?
I mean, I think the Mets are an option. I mean, I will say we've heard Cohen say that he's at his max. He does not want to go beyond where he's at. That team's off to a good start. They're beginning to level out like we thought they would as the schedule gets harder. But I don't know that there's enough. I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze to make a move like that because of the money. Could they do it? Yes, they could do it. Cohen's going to dip into his piggy bank to do it, which we know his piggy bank is infinite. Right. But he has made comments saying he's not willing to go any deeper. Now, with a start like this, he may be all jacked up on the excitement and just say, "Forget it, throw the rules to the wind." I don't know what to expect with Cohen.
Yeah, the Orioles don't have anything to lose. I mean, I'm with you, baseball history dork, but I don't think. I mean, as much as it's not really an issue as it was before, trading in the division is usually a big no-no. But if we got any of those young guys back in that deal, I would be like, yeah, sure, absolutely. But I don't know if they trade in the division. Yankees, I mean, I think the Yankees would trade for him just so he doesn't have to face Garrett Cole anymore. But
and honestly, with the injuries you've had, and Jazz Chisholm now down 4 to 6 weeks, and Jazz Chisholm's probably a better second baseman than he is a third baseman. I mean, the Yankees would be a great option. I don't know that payroll-wise they want to make that commitment because you've got the guy for 8 more years after this. I don't know that how easy that would be to do within the division. I feel like there are limited options. One team in the division that makes a lot of sense would be the Blue Jays, who do have money and want that big marquee name. They feel like they sort of got it with Santander, but obviously Santander and Devers are not the same player.
Right.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. The A's, I mean, he would destroy that minor league ballpark. It wouldn't even be fair.
He did 50 this year. I mean, it would be obnoxious.
And I don't know. The A's have something cooking. I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of money for the A's to eat. Unless the A's are like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll take them off your hands, but you got to eat the contract.
Yeah. If they were already in Vegas, I'd say maybe. But that's a big contract to take down.
Yeah.
And again, like a clubhouse dynamic you don't want to screw with.
Yeah, right. All right, let's finally get off this Devers train.
But
Hopefully,
one
go
team
ahead.
that's kind of a sneaky option, I think, is the Cardinals,
Hmm.
who have they've won 8 in a row. They've been on a streak. They could use some more power in that lineup. And that might be a spot where he could DH.
Interesting. Or they play him at third and give Arenado the DH spot.
Yeah. Or move Arenado. Maybe Arenado plays some first base, and maybe there's a way to mix those guys around. But I think the Cardinals are a sneaky option because they look like they've got a pulse that we weren't necessarily sure they'd have.
Yeah.
But I also know this is Mozeliak's last year. Hein Bloom takes over next year. They were trying not to make any big commitments or investments.
Right.
The timing is bad.
Yeah.
But if this team is actually good, if I'm Mozeliak, I'm going to make a case for it because I don't want to go out on a low. If I got a chance to win my last year, hell yeah, I want to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm with you, Captain. Don't ruin the A's. They're cohesive, and I'm with you. But all right, let's finally get off the Devers train. Hopefully, we won't have to get back on anytime soon, unless it's for good news. So, all right. Jose Altuve collected his 700th career extra base hit, joining Bagwell, Biggio, and Berkman as the only other Astros to achieve this in team history. My question, Harrison, is he a Hall of Famer, or does 17 keep him out?
This one's tough because I don't know how the writers feel about him. Altuve has been a great ambassador for the game. He's a very well liked player. And who doesn't like the underdog story of the little dude doing well? But 17 is a massive black mark with the trash can thing, the theories about what was under his shirt. There's just so many question marks about his performance basically leading up to that. He's been great ever since, so I don't think that was a huge part in his performance, but that is a bad moment for baseball that I think the writers will consider, but I just don't think it's enough to keep him out. I still think he makes it in.
I do too. I mean, one of the best, if not the best, second baseman of the last 10, 15 years. I mean, talk about steady. The dude just gets up and gets 2 hits a game, and big home runs, clutch home runs. I'm with you. It is a huge black mark on him, but it's not enough to keep him out. I think he's in.
Yeah, when you think second baseman of the last 10 or 15 years, he's definitely the first name for me, at least.
Oh yeah, easy.
He might be the second or third for somebody else because maybe there's somebody else that sticks with him. But I feel like Altuve is in the top 2 or 3 for everybody. It'd be hard to find anybody better. But speaking of Altuve, did you see the article about the arm strength?
No.
So he's now made enough throws with the StatCast metrics that they can actually measure arm strength. He has the worst arm strength of any outfielder in baseball. He's like 79.7 miles on average. He has the weakest outfield arm in all of baseball, and it's not close.
No.
He's like way off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what you get when you move a second baseman to the outfield. Let's be honest.
Dude's average throw has been 70 feet his whole life. Like I don't think he played a lot of long toss.
Right. Yeah. And Forrest, you're right. True. I mean, they never proved he had a piece on. You're right. I mean, yeah.
And this is a great point, Captain, because I do think that for Altuve, I think Altuve came out of that okay. A lot of guys came out of it way worse.
Yep.
I do think that Altuve is clearly seen as one of the centerpieces to that whole thing, but he seemed to come out of it okay.
Yeah, and your point about like the lack of response to MLB kind of just shoving it to the side definitely helped keep it under wraps more than it was. Now, like, listen, it was out in the open and it was a huge deal at the time. Like, I'm not saying it wasn't, but like we don't talk about it as much anymore as the steroid era, right? I mean, we don't. MLB, the steroid era comes up all the time. This should be talked about a lot more than it is. And it just isn't, because MLB was just like, well, nah, nothing really happened. So
yeah, there's MLB did a good job of not giving this a chance to breathe. They pushed new stories, new stuff over the top of it. They just didn't give this story any oxygen, and it just faded away.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the punishments were just for the managers, really, and it was a
Yeah.
1 year, which really wasn't a
And
punishment.
Beltran.
That was and right, they blackballed Beltran, but I mean, I really wouldn't even count the 1 year suspensions as punishments. None of the players were suspended or anything, which is crazy to me. I don't understand that either. But they're the ones doing it.
Yeah, so you want
but
me to believe that the players had no willing knowledge of this going on and didn't in any way benefit?
yeah,
Okay.
crazy. But anyways, all right, moving on.
His move to left field was about as good idea the Mariners putting Polanco at third.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
All right, Don Kelly. He was tossed in his second game as interim manager for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I put this like more tongue in cheek, but who's the next to manage on the depth chart? McCutcheon?
Well, I saw the funniest article ever. It was, Kelly tossed in the second game. Nobody knows who managed after that. Like,
yeah,
literally, like the Pirates team was kind of like, who managed? They're kind of like, well, it's so and so, and like there wasn't even clear who managed the rest of that game.
that team, man, is
That team is such a hot mess, and I'm sure the brand new manager, his head is spinning. He's drinking from a fire hose, trying to get up to speed and get this all figured out. But I mean, he got ejected. He literally walked in. He threw the lineup card on the little table by the helmets and just stormed down the tunnel. Didn't say a word to anybody. It wasn't like, hey, take this, or hey, you're in charge, or he just disappeared.
The announcers were hilarious because they're like, well, we're going to have to check the record books to see if this is the quickest that a manager's been thrown out in his managerial career.
Yeah,
2 games in.
It wasn't even a full 2 games. It was early in the second game.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. But
And it was that whoever the umpire was had a pretty quick trigger with him.
yeah, Cap and me. I'm moving to Pittsburgh.
I mean, Cap, and you're as good as anybody to go manage that team.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely crazy. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and it was a good. I mean, he got his money's worth, but
yeah.
that organization is such a dumpster fire.
Yep. Connor Joe traded to the Reds from the Padres for a minor leaguer and cash. So not a crazy move, but this guy has bounced around like crazy the last few years. But he's a nice little piece just for the Reds, can fill in there. So we'll see what happens there. Not really big news story, but it is what it is.
No, and I really thought he would stay in Pittsburgh. He seemed to be a pretty good fit there. He had some good seasons there.
Yeah, we saw him hit a bomb at Orioles Park or Camden Yards.
Crushed. I mean, it was crushed down the line.
Yeah.
But he's had like 13 at bats this year. Like he's got no spot out there.
Yeah, who's he going to play over in San Diego? Nobody.
Yeah, they signed him as a depth piece, and then they've filled the holes. And they're like, okay, like you're going to be a platoon guy, but there's been with that team absolutely rolling. You're not going to mix up that lineup.
Yeah, and Jackson Merrill coming back, so there's really no spot for him.
You ran out of places.
Yep. Hayden Wesneski hits the 15-day IL with elbow soreness. Is there ever going to be a day where we won't see these injuries as common as they are now?
I think this is the new reality for baseball. Pitchers are max effort, everything I got until I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I hate it because, we've talked about the what if guys, and they've kind of set that tone and set the bar. Like, I'm going to go out and throw 150 miles an hour until my arm falls off, take a year and a half off, and then come back and do it again. Unfortunately, I'm with you. I think this is the way baseball's heading, and I don't see it really turning the other way anytime soon, especially with all these analytics on velocity, arm speed, pitch break, spin rate, all this stuff. I think arm injuries are here to stay. And these guys, I say it time and time again, these guys have so much talent that their bodies can't even handle how much talent they have.
Yep.
Which is crazy to think about. They out talent their bodies capacity.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Their ability is beyond what they can physically handle. And, along those same lines, Blake Snell still shut down, seeing a doctor. Glass now has resumed light throwing. He's also going to see a doctor. You've got, again, these high end guys that are, on 15-day IL trips. I mean, Blake Snell's been on the 15-day IL for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
They just keep extending it.
This is a great point, John. I mean, Imagine
Oh,
how bad it's going to be if there's a long strike or layoff. Yeah, trying to come back from that, we're going to see guys left, and we might see 7 or 8 man rotations to get those guys back in.
well,
But
the problem is during any sort of work stoppage, they cut communication between both sides. So the pitchers can't even talk to their pitching coach and their strength and conditioning team to say, "Hey, what should I be doing?"
right,
Or can we check in on my progress? You're on your own.
yeah, yep, yeah. The pitching philosophy needs to change for injuries to change. I 1,000% agree, Captain.
No,
Absolutely.
nobody likes getting outs anymore. They like getting strikeouts.
Yep, it's because they're sexy
I mean, yeah,
and they get you paid. I
they
mean,
do get
that's
they do. I mean, a guy like Framber Valdez is one of the few throwbacks who basically says, "Yeah, I'll strike a few guys out, but I'm also going to throw you pitches I know you can't hit that you're going to swing at and
right.
pound into the ground."
Yeah.
And people are just like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. That works for him."
The
But
ground crew must absolutely hate every time that Framber Valdez pitches because he just chews the whole front part of the grass up in front of home plate.
oh yeah,
But
yeah, and
yeah,
that grounds crew is making that area in front of home plate a little softer the days he pitches.
oh, for sure, absolutely.
There, little couple extra rakes there, a little less water.
Yeah.
And
All right.
yeah, and John, I totally agree. Got to stop teaching kids curve and sliders. I was watching a video the other day, travel ball. I want to say it was 13U, 14U travel ball, and this pitcher must have thrown 3 curveballs in a 5 pitch at bat, and they weren't even good. Like they weren't good. But these kids are being taught at a young age to throw these pitches because they need to perform. They need to be, they need to be the best. They need to be prepared for what's next. They need to show out in front of scouts. These kids are too young for any of that to matter right now.
Yeah. Yeah, the chicks definitely still dig the long ball, and that's why the hitting philosophy has changed as
Yes.
well. But yeah,
Yeah.
that hasn't changed, Captain, for sure. All right. My D-backs. Let's talk about them for a minute.
I sent Nick a message. I was like, "Oh my goodness! Like, what is happening in Arizona?"
That game was absolutely wild Friday night. I mean, if you love baseball, high-scoring baseball, it was an incredible game to watch. I hate that my boys came on the other side of it, the wrong side of it, but they put up
six runs in the ninth. Is that right? For the
yeah,
Dodgers?
yeah. The Dodgers were down 3 and ended up going up by 3. They put up 11 runs Friday night against the Dodgers and lost. Now, missing Justin Martinez and AJ Puck in the bullpen is hurting them badly. They just can't close out games right now. I mean, they are the NL Boston Red Sox right now. They can hit until the cows come home, but they can't prevent runs late in the game. One bright spot that I did see, I don't know if you've seen this kid pitch yet, and if you haven't, you need to. Christian Mena.
I've missed him. I've tried to catch him a couple of times, and I've missed him.
Oh, dude, he has got electric stuff, and he's like 21, 22.
Yeah,
he's
of course.
young, but he's got electric stuff. He's come in the last 2 or 3 ball games that I've watched them, and he's just mowing guys down, making them look silly. He went through Otani, Betts, and Freeman like 1, 2, 3, like easy the other night.
Oh wow.
He looks good. How are we feeling about? Oh, we'll get to it later because I have another slide where we're going to kind of talk about playoff. But this was just an absolutely crazy game. I loved it. It was like 25 runs, 25 hits between the two teams. Just absolute slugfest.
It was nuts. I mean, every time I looked up, the score had changed, but it wasn't by like a run. It was by like 3.
Yeah.
And I would flip back to it and catch a little bit of it. And I was watching a bunch of other games too. And game was wild. But I do remember seeing Justin Martinez's last outing. I sent you a message like the Diamondbacks are trying to blow this game.
Yep.
I want to say it was against the Mets, and they finally brought somebody in. They got out of it. Yep. He went back on the IL because he clearly wasn't right. Yep. And that bullpen it's been a struggle for the Diamondbacks for 2 years now. They just Sewall was going to be the guy. No, he wasn't anymore. Martinez was going to be the guy. He's hurt. Puck was going to be the guy. He's hurt. Thankfully Mena's come up because I don't know who they'd have. Like that bullpen is full of a bunch of names of guys I've never heard.
Ryan Thompson is seeing the bulk of the time in the high leverage spots.
Oh, yeah.
That's really it.
And not that he's not a bad bullpen arm, but he's not a guy designed for a lot of that.
Right. And then Ryan Nelson kind of bounces back and forth between the rotation and bullpen. It looks like he's going to be cemented in that bullpen for the time being right now. But there was, I think, 4, maybe even 5 home runs in that game that were all hit over 440. I
they're
mean,
bombs.
bombs. Oh God, Jarrell, I
Oh,
am
Gerald, we're sorry,
so
man.
sorry. We are gonna get to them, so hang on, buddy. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, although I will say, in all the years of doing this, you're the first like admitted Rockies fan, so we appreciate you
Yeah.
sharing that with us.
You missed it last week. I was sporting my Rockies hat last week.
Yep.
Yeah, they're absolutely crazy. I don't know where the Diamondbacks go. To me, their equivalent team is the Boston Red Sox right now. Kind of put up a ton of runs, but can't prevent them late in the game. So
Yeah, and this is a team that we thought was going to be in that fight in the division. They're not. They're only a few games behind the Giants, 5 behind the Padres, 6 behind the Dodgers. So they're not like way out of it, but they have definitely had a disappointing start.
yeah,
And given all the runs they've scored, they're a -2.
right.
It's horrifying how many runs they've given up.
Yeah. All right. Here they are. So Saturday night, Rockies were losing 19-0 after 5 innings, 20-0 after 6, and they lost 21-0 against the Padres. Hard to believe that there was a worse team than last year's White Sox team, but here we are. And then on the heels of that game, Bud Black gets fired today. So what I mean, yeah.
It's like I was telling you today, like the Rockies to me make no sense. You know, they talk about making improvements, they don't make any changes. And I know they've got the Chris Bryant contract that's like choking off their life. They talk about all the young prospects they're developing, but like nobody shows up other than Tovar. Like they haven't had like a real impact player
Yeah.
they've developed in a little while. You've got guys you thought would play bigger roles that are struggling. You lost the heart and soul of that team last year when he retired.
Yeah.
In Blackman. So it's tough. That organization is in a tough spot. There's not really a light at the end of the tunnel. They need the Chris Bryant thing to resolve itself. He needs to either retire or show up finally and be healthy because they're paying him way too much money not to see him play. And Bud Black is a great baseball guy, and he survived there longer than I think anybody thought he would. I mean, I was always amazed at his longevity. He's won over 1,000 games, lost over 1,000 games.
Right.
But he's a great baseball guy who I do feel like deserved better than what he was given. However, this team has made no strides forward. He's been there a long time. It's probably time to just start over and see what you can do. But I don't think Bud Black is a problem.
No,
You've given him nothing to work with.
I also think him being in that division helped keep his job longer.
Yes.
Like knowing that team was never going to be able to compete with the Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Padres, Giants ever. Looking at the roster you're putting out on the field, it actually saved his job, right?
Probably. He had the blanket of saying, look what I'm playing against.
Right. And look what you're giving me. Yeah. Like it's both, right? So he's like, I'm doing what I can with this team, but only putting together 9 wins in the month of April. Was it 9? 3? I don't know. It was single digits. I can't even remember it. Like
the Rockies are only at 7 wins.
Oh shit. So it was 3 in April. Okay. So I mean that tells you that we got to change something. We can't change the roster, right? There's nobody in the minors coming up. We got to do something to try to spark at least 1 win a week, right? And maybe that it was just time. But I don't even know. It's just crazy. We were sitting here in the offseason being like, we just witnessed the worst team in Major League Baseball history in the Chicago White Sox. Like, we're never going to see this again. Like, ever. We're everybody in the chat saying it. We were saying it. We're like, we're never going to see this again. Like, because even the White Sox aren't even going to come back next year and be as bad. And here we are. A team that has 7 wins on the season. They're on pace for, I think, Baseball History Door posted it today. 35 wins is what they're on pace for. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about, Forrest. Go on this. This is awesome. He's trying to take like a guess on how many wins that the Rockies get this year. It's tough. And yeah, Jarrell, man, I'm sorry about it. Like it's hard it's even hard to watch for us. Like we're not diehard Rockies fans, but like to see a team struggle like this just hurts.
Well, it's not good for baseball. It's not good for the fan base. It's not good for the players. Like there's no scenario where there's any positive that comes out of this.
Yeah. They were on
20
pace for 25 before today's win.
Well, and what's
Yeah.
scary is they're a minus 128. Their minus is almost as big as the runs they've scored, which is 133.
Jesus. Yikes.
You feel like at some point something has to go their way, and it's been just several years of getting just continually kicked while they're down.
Yeah. 52. They get hot late and screw somebody over.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
I don't know how they're going to score runs. I mean, they're 40 games in the season. They're averaging, what is that? Just over 3 runs a game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to win a lot of games when you're only scoring 3 runs a game.
So
and you're in that ballpark.
Yeah, right. 7 wins, man.
They currently sit at 5-16 at home, 2-17 on the road, and they are 3-22 against teams better than 500.
Dang.
Good teams just beat them up, as they should. They're expected to.
Right.
But they, as is typical, they're a worse team on the road. No surprise.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And their expected win-loss is 9-31. They've actually underperformed the hideous start to their season.
But even their expected win total is still single digits. That's 100%. Crazy.
100%.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. But they have won 1 game in a row, so let's give that to them.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was a point where we were like, oh my God, the White Sox led for 2 innings last year. So it was like,
oh yeah, last year was comical because the White Sox, we were tracking it night by night. Like, what are they still on pace?
Yeah. I mean, this is almost like beyond comical though. Like this is painfully bad for everybody. But
yeah, there's nothing good about this for baseball in general.
No. Especially on the heels of all this expansion talk. If you got a team that's already been established for 30 years, can't even get 10 wins in the first month and a half.
Right. And they're becoming the poster child for the kind of the inability of small market teams to compete.
Right. And you're going to bring 2 more teams into this league? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
how you do it.
No. All right. So on the flip side, the team that handed out the beating, the first team to score 20 plus runs and to have their starter throw a complete game since the Cincinnati Red Stockings in 1889.
Wow.
So just when you start to think you've seen it all, this game surprises you. So it's just crazy. Because most of the time you think in like a blowout like that, they take their starter out and they're just like, yeah, we don't need to risk injury here. But the kid was sitting at like 84 pitches.
Yeah, probably just throwing strikes, filling up the zone, saying, "Okay, hit it." Like, I've got such a big lead, you can't beat me.
Yeah.
Jamie Moyer pitched that game.
Yeah, he did.
And the Jamie Moyer references have started.
Yes, they have. But yeah, absolutely crazy.
Brutal.
My buddy John, that I played baseball with in the Southern Maine Men's Baseball League. He's his West Coast team's the Padres, and he goes, Padres had a great road trip. Got 2 managers fired this week. So,
yeah. That was
funny.
It was a tough week to be a manager.
Yeah, against the Padres for sure.
Yep.
All right, here we go, Harrison. Third place teams in the AL, as of yesterday when I put this together, could have changed a little bit depending on how today worked out. Who has the best chance to battle for wild card spots in the AL right now? Blue Jays, Royals, Athletics.
Oof. So, I mean, for me, it's KC number 1, probably Blue Jays number 2, A's number 3. I love the A's. I watch a lot of the A's. I'm a big believer in the A's. I just don't know that they can keep this up all season. You're relying on a lot of young guys who are off to great starts. The Blue Jays are going to get Max Scherzer back. They are seemingly turning the corner. I don't know. I feel like the Blue Jays are the more likely team to be able to do it. Yeah, Toronto destroyed the Mariners. It was ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Toronto's making a run, and I think they're a better team than they've played to so far. So I would go KC, Toronto, Sacramento.
Yeah. I'm with you. I would like it to be A's, KC, and Blue Jays, but I'm with you. I think it's gonna be the Royals, Blue Jays, and A's here. Yeah, KC's already started to pull it together for us. I'm with you. I mean, they've been hot. I know they lost 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox, but they were what, 15 of 17 before that?
Yeah, they reached 16 of 18 when they won game 1 against the
16 of
Red
18.
Sox,
That's right. Mm-hmm.
and then
So
dropped 2. But again, a good team. They're good games. The 10-1 game was a little bit less than the game today, but they also faced Garrett Crochet, and good luck to
yeah,
most teams. But yeah, I think KC is going to be there in the end. I think the Blue Jays could be. I think the A's are going to struggle, but the A's are definitely ahead of schedule from where we thought they'd be.
yes, absolutely.
We knew
And I
they'd be good and not a joke. I just didn't think they would be hanging around. Yeah, I thought in the end they'd end up kind of around 500. Thought the West would be a little bit better than it is, but they're still in it.
yeah. You think that ballpark is helping them or hurting them?
I think it's helping them for now. I think there's going to be series where it hurts them.
The
I think when you
Yankees destroyed them.
I think when you bring in some of your better hitting teams, Yankees, Red Sox, Tigers, I think they're going to feast at a ballpark like that.
Severino also still throwing frisbees out there. I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
that slider he threw to Aaron Judge today. I
It's
don't know why he doesn't throw anything else besides that.
nobody's hitting that thing. It's a wiffle ball.
Oh my God, man. Judge didn't have a prayer. Started on the inside corner and ended up in the left-handed batter's box.
That's
Like,
you literally just you tip your hat and walk back to the dugout. Like
yeah,
nothing you can do about that.
no. Best hitter in the league missed it by a foot because that's how much it broke. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's gross. It's absolutely gross. The sweeper and the slider for him lately have been better than I've ever seen.
Yeah. All right. We'll move over to the NL. We got the Braves, the Brewers, and the Giants sitting in third place. Who has the best chance to battle for wild card spots here?
You know where I'm going. I'm going Atlanta, San Fran, Milwaukee. I am all in on Atlanta, still making the climb. They had a chance to get back to 500 today for the first time in baseball history. A team that with that start gets back to 500. They missed the chance, but they'll get there. I think the Braves are still too good. They're only going to get better as the season goes on. Injuries, obviously, contingent upon that. But yeah, I'm going Atlanta, San Fran, Milwaukee. I just don't think Milwaukee's got the juice to stay there. I don't think San Fran's got the juice to stay there. I think they're off to a great start, but I question if they can really hold that level of play. I mean, Young Ho Lee's been a freak, so that helps. But
And Chapman's hitting too. So
yeah, and Chapman could go radio silent starting tomorrow for a month. So I don't love the Giants roster. I like it, so I'm taking the Braves.
yeah, I think I'm jumping on your bandwagon here. I think out of these three, it's the Braves, it's the Giants, and then the Brewers. I think the Brewers end up in second place in that NL Central. I don't really see who else kind of takes that second place spot other than them at the end of the season.
The Cardinals are sitting there right now, but I don't think that's real.
No. But a team that's not on here that, I'm a semi-homer for is the Diamondbacks. Like that NL West is a gauntlet. We've talked about it. I don't know. We're going to see, but I'm with you. I like what the Giants have going on. They have some good pieces. They have some good young pitching out there. Logan Webb is an absolute machine. Talk about pitchers that good. He just goes out and throws 7+ innings every outing. Ground ball machine.
I was going to say ground ball machine. That guy is so efficient.
Yeah. But I think I'm with you. I think it's Braves, Giants, then Brewers here.
And I will say that we've seen Verlander's really turned the corner. He's got no run support though, which has been brutal. But he hasn't given up more than 3 in a start since middle of April. And he's consistently going 5 or 6. So, I mean, I think Verlander is giving you everything you hoped. He's just not getting any help.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Jarrell, I don't know if someone actually goes in and kind of blows the socks off the owner and buys them out. Because we've talked about it. Like, if you want to go in and buy the Rockies, how much more additional money are you going to have to dump into that organization to even remotely make them competitive again? It's not really a smart buy for anybody, right? Because you're still going to have to fork over what, $1.5 billion, maybe almost two, even though it's the Rockies.
Yeah, I think they were valued at like 1.8 billion last I saw. But
Yeah,
and the Monfort family's owned this thing since day one. They're the only owners of the Rockies to this point. They love the ball club. They love the area. They're committed to it. They just don't have the same level of deep pockets that these other owners have. And they also don't have the revenue. And I feel like it's going to be really hard to convince somebody to come in and buy the Rockies in a market that size.
yeah,
Now, could the market be better if they were more competitive? Sure. Like there's upside there. But when they were competitive, they were overspending what they had. Like the Monforts were putting money into this thing when they were, when they had those big names in the lineup and they went to the World Series. They were putting personal money in here to keep it running. This team has never been fully viable, and they were okay with that. But I think they're at the point now where these guys are in their 70s. I think they're kind of like, okay, like we can't do that forever.
yeah.
It's going to be hard to get them to want to sell because they've been there since day one.
They have to start. I mean, tear the whole thing down and start over, right?
Yeah.
And new scouts, new minor league scouts, everything. Just clean house and try to get better talent in there, homegrown talent. Get a couple draft hits. That's really their only way out of the hole, because no one's going to Colorado. Like, even when they were semi-good, it was hard to get free agents there. The Chris Bryant one was out of left field. Pardon the pun there.
It really was.
But yeah, I don't know. That's going to be a tough hill to climb. But I don't know if anyone's going in and being like, "Hey, you selling the Rockies?" Because we're looking to drop $5 billion, $2 billion to buy the team, but another $3 billion to make them competitive. I don't know if anyone's looking to do that.
And we've talked about this before with the Monfort. Like the net worth of the Monforts is $700 million. These are not 20 billionaires like Steve Cohen. They're not in the 15 to 20 billion like the group that owns the Dodgers.
Right.
These guys are obviously super wealthy, but they're not playing with nearly the same kind of money as other teams. And they don't, they just don't have the ability to put into it like they used to. And the revenue is hovered around the 300 million mark, which puts them kind of in the middle of the pack. So it's not anything spectacular, and you've been choking on that Chris Bryant contract.
Right. Yeah, that's what, 65% of your revenue, probably. Or not revenue,
it's at least 10, it's 10%, right? 10+%.
Yeah, gotta be.
Hey, 10 cents every dollar you make is going to Chris Bryant.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. Dallas Braden, May 9th, 2010, on Mother's Day, pitched a perfect game. He had lost his mother in high school from cancer. His grandmother was in attendance for this game. So kind of a little turn back the clock here to remember when Braden pitched that perfect game on Mother's Day. I posted the video today, watched it 3 or 4 times. It gives you all the chills, man, all the feels. And if it doesn't, you're heartless, because it's absolutely incredible.
It was an amazing situation, an amazing story.
Yeah. And like when he goes over and his grandmother comes down to the field and they're both like bawling their eyes out, it's just like absolutely nuts. But just a little turn back the clock there. Pretty cool. Speaking of turning back, go ahead.
Well, when you go turn back the clock, the other Mother's Day game that sticks with me is the Mother's Day miracle the Red Sox had.
Hang on to that thought, okay. Harrison. All right. So I've been doing this segment. I'm going to bring it onto the show. So we got This Week in Baseball History. This is for next week. So May 11th through May 17th. Here we go. May 11th, 1996. Al Leiter struck out 6, walked 2 batters against the Rockies. Sorry, it's the Rockies again.
Yeah.
En route to recording the first no-hitter in Marlins history. So Al Leiter.
Al Leiter was an underappreciated, underrated pitcher. He had that curveball that broke like 90 feet. He just threw a ton of strikes. I used to love watching him pitch.
Yeah. May 12th, 2014, Alfonso Soriano becomes the 7th player in Major League Baseball history to record 1,000 hits in both the NL and the AL when he singles off Bartolo Colon. So started his career in New York, went to the Cubs for those years, collected 1,000 hits, and then comes back and gets the 1,000th hit in the AL with the Yankees against Bartolo Colon. So
That's an amazing stat.
yeah, pretty good. I mean,
1,000 hits
Soriano.
is hard.
Yeah, and Soriano was a damn good player.
Yeah, he was.
Really
I mean, he was a guy that he was good. He had that super long swing. He couldn't play any defense. You know, he kind of drove you crazy. But when you look at the balance of work, I mean, the guy had a hell of a career.
Yeah, 40-40 guy when he was with the Nationals.
Yeah,
I mean,
412 career home runs, 1,159 RBIs, stole almost 300 bases, hit 270, over 2,000 hits. I mean, that's a hell of a career.
Yeah, absolutely.
For a guy who just seemed to get traded a lot.
Yeah. All right. May 13th, 2007, the Mother's Day miracle. So here it is. The Boston Red Sox rallied for 6 runs in the bottom of the ninth to beat the Orioles 6-5. 2 singles, 2 doubles, 2 errors, and 3 walks combined to the 6 runs in that half inning. So that was crazy. Losing 5-0 going into the bottom of the ninth. Red Sox score 6 and come back to win it.
That was the wildest half inning I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Walks, ball getting thrown all over the place, like timely hits. Like it was absolutely insane.
Yeah, and capping about Soriano, it looked like the bat he was swinging was huge.
Yeah.
It's just massive.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was Eric Hinsky who took the last walk, and his quote was, "I was 0 for 3 that day. I hadn't played in a week. I knew I wasn't getting a hit, and I was so glad they walked me so we keep things going."
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah. May 14th, 2017, the Yankees officially retire Jeter's jersey number 2 and give him a plaque in Monument Park, cementing his place among Yankees legends. So,
yeah, where he belongs. He's on the Mount Rushmore of Yankees.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Not even for stats. I mean, his stats are, there's guys in the Yankees history that have way better stats than him, but you won't find a guy who lived the name captain better than him.
No, absolutely not. Took whatever it took to win.
Yep.
Including diving into the stands when he didn't need to. All right. May 15th, 1918. This one is wild to me. Walter Johnson throws the longest shutout in MLB history, throwing an 18-inning shutout in a 1-0 victory. I'm sorry, what?
in 18 innings, you managed to score 1 total run? That's insanity.
Both teams combined.
Yeah. That's wild. It's wild. I can only imagine that game. Of course, we'll never get to see it, but I would have loved to have seen that game to just see how do you get there? How do you get to 18 innings? How are you going into the 18th inning 0-0?
How does he only get 1 shutout for that on his stat line?
He pitched 2.
He pitched 2 shutouts in 1 game. So literally he's got 111 shutouts.
John. Moyer lost that game.
Of course he did. Yeah. Hang on to that thought, John. May 16th, 2012. 49-year-old Jamie Moyer wins his 2nd game of the year, throwing 6 1/3 innings, allowing 1 run, and hits a 2-run single as he becomes the oldest player to ever record an RBI, passing Julio Franco. Crazy.
It's the stories of Jamie Moyer, the stats of Jamie Moyer, it just doesn't seem real. It seems like it's all made up. Like, how did a guy at 49 get the win and drive in 2 runs? It's a myth.
Yeah, I'm 40 years old and I can't even get out of bed in the morning without tweaking a knee or an ankle.
I'm pretty sure you could bring the same velo he was bringing.
Maybe
82 or whatever it was he was throwing. I mean, he was, but I mean, he was crafty and he got outs.
Yeah.
John Temple, he's the man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's an interesting character in baseball history. There's nobody like him.
Yeah. May 17th, 1970, Hank Aaron becomes the first player ever to reach the 3,000 career hits and 500 career home run mark. So
That's amazing.
absolutely nuts.
His stats are bananas.
Yep.
And then body work, RBIs, the hits, the home runs, the extra base hits, just insane.
Yeah. And then Willie Mays joins this club like very soon after.
Yeah, so, like 5 minutes later.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So
wasn't it like the same month?
Yeah. I mean, like legit, like really,
like,
really
within like a few days, I think.
Yeah. Forrest, this is nuts. Fred Toney threw a 17-inning no-hitter in Class D ball. That's
wow.
Nuts. John, never heard of the guy.
Oh God.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Harrison, I think these are a little tricky. So
okay.
I might some of them. I think you'll do all right. Anyways.
Okay.
Here we go. You'll definitely get the first one. Here we go. Name the MLB pitcher that when he retired had faced 8.9% of all MLB players ever, which breaks down to approximately 1,700 different batters.
This has to be our boy, Jamie Moyer.
It is Jamie Moyer. Yep.
The only other guy I could think it could be would be Justin Verlander. And I saw a stat the other day that Justin Verlander, in the length of his career, 25% of all Major League Baseball players have made their debut.
That's crazy.
That was nuts. Yeah. I saw that and I was like, that can't be real.
Yeah, he's got to be getting up there too then.
He's 42.
Yeah, but I mean like with Jamie Moyer territory, like starting to like creep towards those numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's been in the league forever.
He's been around for a long time.
Yeah. All right.
Good old Jamie Moyer.
Yep. Next one. Who holds the MLB record for most inside the park home runs in a single season with 12?
Holy cow.
Yeah. And you have to go back quite a ways for this one.
I would think so.
1899 to 1917. Ooh. But you've definitely heard this name. His name is thrown around quite a bit in baseball history.
I mean, obviously, I would go to guys like Ty Cobb.
Not Ty Cobb. He played for the Cincinnati and Detroit.
Oh, man.
He is in the Hall of Fame. Right fielder, first baseman.
John, there's family trees Moyer has struck out.
Yep. Pee-wee, that's a good guess. It's not Pee-wee.
Come on, Forrest, help me out here. I know you know this. I don't have any idea.
This is Sam Crawford.
Oh, okay. Yep.
1901. Sam Crawford.
Yep. Definitely a name I've heard. Probably not a name I could place.
Yep. Yeah, I was kind of the same way. I was like, this one might be a little bit on the tougher side, but you've definitely heard the name.
Yep.
All right. Which 4 players have won the World Series MVP twice?
Ooh, that's a good one. So, Jeter?
No.
One
current guy, the other 3 are not.
How about Bumgarner?
No.
Randy Johnson?
Nope.
Killing me here.
Dodgers.
Can't be Kershaw because he hasn't. He's a pitcher in the playoffs.
It's not Kershaw, but it's another K.
Is it Koufax?
It's Koufax is one. Joe Carter's a good guess. It's not Carter.
Active's got to be Seager.
It is Corey Seager. Yes, Dodgers and the Rangers.
All right, I got 2 of them.
Another guy played for the background colors and the Yankees.
Background colors and the Yankees. He's in Yankees.
Yes, Captain. Nice.
Oh, Reggie. Yeah, good one.
And then the last one, I mean, we had a huge segment with Nostalgic Baseball Geezer about this guy.
Is this Gibson?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Sandy Koufax, Reggie Jackson, Bob Gibson, and Corey Seager.
I forgot that Seager. We got it twice.
Yep. Yeah, when that kid's healthy, man, he is disgusting. Just he can't stay on the field. But all right. Next one. Which slugger hit exactly 36 home runs 3 years in a row in 82, 83, and 84, while also playing in all 162 games each season?
So I was an idea, then conceived, then in diapers. Okay. um, Reds. Was this like Phillies, Reds, Braves?
Braves.
Braves. Okay. 36 home runs.
A
82,
lot of
83, 84.
discussion about the Hall of Fame, and this guy should be in it.
Oh. Is this Murphy?
It is Murphy. Yep. Dale
Yep.
Murphy. Good.
That was a helpful hint.
Yep. All right. Which slugger had 376 career home runs, but had the exact same home run splits on the road and at home with 188?
Wow, that's impressive. So it's a White Sox.
Yep.
It's not Frank.
Nope.
Not Canerco. Other sluggers in the White Sox history. You got Fisk.
It is Carlton Fisk.
Wow,
Yep.
that's pretty impressive.
Do you also know the other like famous splits that are the same, like on the road and at home? It has to do with career hits.
Oh, I don't.
Stan Musial hit exactly 1,815 hits on the road and at home. So
Wow,
pretty crazy.
that is wild.
Oh, Murphy went to Cappins High School. That's pretty
That's
cool.
sweet.
Maglio's not a bad guess.
No,
right
that's
there.
a good one. That's a good guess.
I miss Maglio Ordonez,
I used
man.
to
He
love
was
watching him play.
so good with the Tigers and the White Sox there. All right. Who is the all-time leader in fielding percentage at second base and at third base?
Ooh.
We have seen this guy play as well. And he was brought up a couple weeks ago in another trivia question. I don't know if that helps you out much, but
Is this a Rangers color, Tigers color?
Tigers color.
So
Could have been a
Tremler out.
It could have been a Phillies color as well. I could have chose a Phillies color, but
Okay.
I went with Tigers. Not Kent. That's a good guess.
Kent's a good one. Kinsler played a little bit of third base, probably not enough.
Good guess. Not Kinsler. This guy was a big part of those pretty good Tigers teams with like Ordonez and Vimar and Cabrera.
Oh yeah, we had him a few weeks ago. This is Polanco.
Yes, this is Placido Polanco. 993 fielding percentage and 8,462 innings at second, 983 and 6,061 innings at third.
He played way more third base than I would have given him credit for.
Yeah. So Placido Polanco. All right. When Maddox and Johnson were set to face off against each other, they were both scratched. Which two pitchers replaced their starts?
I saw the clip of this like a couple weeks ago.
It's cool.
And see if Chad has it, but
yeah, this one's cool.
I'd completely forgotten that happened.
Yeah,
and you had two future Hall of Famers step in for two Hall of Famers.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
This one blew my mind a little bit. I'd totally forgotten about it.
Yeah.
So I'll give Chad a second, then I'll answer.
Yeah.
And I remember the announcer in the clip. It's like, for those of you who are looking to come out and see Maddox and Johnson today, you might be a little disappointed as they kind of tell you the matchup, and you're like, it's like, oh, that's too bad. You're like, wait a second, those guys are actually pretty good.
Yeah. So, all right. Give me the answer.
It was Scherzer and Kershaw.
It was Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw for sure. Yeah, pretty cool.
How cool would it have been to see that matchup like at the very, very beginning of their careers?
Yeah. Glavine and Schilling. That's a good guess, but not them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Scherzer and Kershaw were both rookies. Crazy. All right. Name the two players that both played for the Red Sox at some point in their careers, went to the same high school 20 years apart, and aren't related but share a last name.
Holy cow. Okay. William O. Pena and Tony Pena.
Nope. Good guess.
Um,
Not them. Yeah, this is a tougher one.
trying to think of common names. I mean, the hard part is like you can think of like a bazillion Ramirez's. Is it
It's
is it like a Ramirez or Hernandez?
it is
Okay,
not.
so it's not so broad.
No, this guy was a second baseman for us, and he was very hot, very cold, and not that long ago. Um, after Pedroia.
Okay, so since Pedroia, you've had Story was there for a little bit. You've had
Before
Campbell now. You've had oh, who was the guy that was like balding that was playing second base? Kind of round face, little beard.
Mm-hmm.
Arroyo, Christian Arroyo.
Yep.
Oh, so
And
Bronson Arroyo.
yeah, Bronson Arroyo and Christian Arroyo, not related, went to the same high school, same last name, and both played for the Red Sox at some point in their
That's
career.
so weird.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Christian Arroyo is actually one of those guys. Like it seemed like he might become your everyday second baseman, then he just couldn't do it and was
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, that's a lot to take in. Yeah,
There's a lot of pieces there to put together.
Yeah. All right. And the last one I got for you. The same umpire called a no-hitter and a perfect game by the same pitcher. Who was the pitcher and what was the umpire's number?
Oh, goodness gracious.
So the umpire's number and the pitcher's number was the same.
Oh, wow. Okay. So no hitters in perfect games. So Nolan Ryan's out. Randy Johnson? No.
Not Randy Johnson.
Not Pedro. Not Maddox. Who would have done both? Not that many perfect games in history. So think of the list of people we've talked about recently. We talk about it a lot. Mark Burley.
It is Mark Burley. Do you know what the umpire's number is then?
I mean, it's got to be, he was 50 something, right?
56.
56.
Yeah. And Eric Cooper was the umpire that called both. So Mark Burley, 56, and Eric Cooper was number 56 as the umpire.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, pretty cool. So
very creepy. Very strange.
Very baseball-esque, if you will.
It totally is, yeah.
There's so many like creepy things like that in baseball history. It's nuts, but yeah, thought that one was pretty cool. So that was cool. All for trivia this evening. So all right, this is the part of the show where we kind of open it up to the chat, and if Harrison's got anything else to add, so fire away, chat, fire away, Harrison, if you got anything.
I mean, well, chat has a minute. I'll just mention a couple of headlines. Kyle Schwarber, 2 home runs today. He's now tied with Aaron Judge for the MLB lead. Schwarber
he's also what, 46 on game streak, I think, as well.
46 games on base. He's been on base every game to start the season.
And what he's chasing 84 is Ted Williams, right? 84. He's barely halfway there.
It's like, wow, 46. You're like, oh, the record's 84. You're like, oh wow, never mind.
Yeah, but you know, John, we all have off nights, but no, Captain, this is the new City Connect. It just came in today. I ordered it as soon as it was on MLB Shop. I actually checked before they released them, and then as soon as they came on, I was like, bang, ordered. But yeah, this is their new City Connect, the Serpientes hat. But yeah, I love this thing. This will be my new favorite probably going forward. But yeah. Anyways, sorry. But
yeah, so Schwarber and Judge were tied for like a minute, and then Judge hit 2 today to go to 14. Ben Rice, grand slam today. That kid has been absolutely tearing it up. Yeah.
The Yankees grand slam totals this year is stupid. How many they've hit already? I think
it is, and now they've got all those bats. What do you do with them?
Just keep hitting like they are.
Keep putting them in.
Yeah. Oh, John, yeah, this is huge. Getting Gilbert and Kirby back the same day. You got it, Harrison. Goodness. Yeah. So those two arms back in that Mariners rotation is going to be huge for them, especially if they can stay on this role that they've been on. And
Can you imagine a world where you can get two guys like that back?
no,
Like where you even
honestly,
have two guys like that, period?
yeah, and you haven't really missed a beat with them
No.
out, which is crazy.
Yeah, you are sitting at 22-17. You're a plus 17. I mean, they've lost 3 in a row. They're 5-5 in their last 10, so they're definitely kind of like leveling off. But you're sitting in first place by 2 games, and you haven't even had your best arms. It's dumb.
Yeah, and I mean we'll be the first to eat some crow here. We said the Mariners weren't gonna hit, and man, have they been hitting.
Yeah, and they've had some nights where they've just absolutely ambushed teams.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and John, you're right. The walks, the Mariners pitching staff does not normally walk a lot of guys. They walked a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
And if you give the Blue Jays enough chances, that lineup is good enough that they will hurt you.
Well, any MLB team is going to hurt you unless you're the Rockies.
Unless you're the Rockies, right? But that is a team that is way too good to allow that to happen.
Yep. I agree.
How about Cade Horton major league debut? Threw 4 innings against the Mets. Pitched really well for the Cubs.
Yep.
The Cubs need more pitching. With all the uncertainty in that rotation, you need more pitching.
Imanaga and Steele out. Those.
Yeah, what's the latest on Imanaga?
I haven't heard.
Yeah, I haven't either. I don't like it when it's quiet. That tells me like they're evaluating. That's never a good sign.
Nope.
Okay, it's just a hamstring. They're saying there's really nothing to report on it. He's little rest, little treatment, and then they're gonna stretch him back out here in a few days and see if they can get him ready to come back at the end of the 15 days.
Yeah. I mean,
all right, we'll see.
Yeah.
What else you got, Chad?
Yeah. Verlander's going against the Diamondbacks tomorrow, so that will be a good test for him to see if he's back for real. Like if it's Verlander of old. That's a tough lineup.
That's a brutal lineup.
Especially with Marte back. That ball he hit, I don't know why Marte doesn't hit right-handed like solely. That dude hits tanks right-handed, and he's clearly better from the right side. I mean, he's damn good from the left side, don't get me wrong, but he's even better from the right side, which is even crazier.
Yeah, he seems like he's got a better power stroke from the right side and a better line drive swing from the left.
Yeah. That's crazy. But
yeah, John. Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out listening out there.
Yes, absolutely.
So all the moms, but also all the wives who take care of us grown men that act like children that they call husbands.
Yeah. We appreciate it.
We sure do.
Yeah.
Did you Cardinals? They went 4 games on a home run, hit 3 today. Such a funny game.
Yeah, I mean the Rangers for a while there back wasn't it? They had like 5 in a row, I think, 5 or 6 in a row without a home run with a team that hits bombs.
Yeah. So, crazy.
Jason, Josh Young faced off against each other today.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was cool. Mom had the split jersey.
Split jersey. Dad had the other half of the split jersey, so it was like the opposite side.
Oh, nice.
And then they were playing tic-tac-toe between innings on the infield dirt.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. I got to ask, because you're a Diamondbacks fan and probably saw the game. Was Shohei Ohtani, was he intentionally mocking Lourdes Gurriel's home run trot when he hit that 3-run to go ahead?
I didn't see it. Was it like the drop?
No, so earlier in the game, Gurriel hit that big home run. And he kind of put his arms up as he ran out of the box.
Yeah.
So Ohtani usually does nothing coming out of the box, kind of did a big bat flip kind of from between his legs up in the air, and then did the arms in the air, then like flapped him like he was trying to fly, and then ran to first base. It looked like a direct shot at Gurriel, which is not typical of Ohtani, who's generally pretty understated.
Yeah, but I mean, that was a high emotional game. A lot of runs back and forth. And Ohtani came through in the clutch. That was a missile on the top of the ninth to put them ahead. I mean, you're going to have some emotion. It's an emotional game. So whether he did it or not, I mean, I think these guys are thick-skinned enough, most of them anyways, to realize that, like, if I do it, I'm going to get it back.
Yeah.
You know? But, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
even if he was, like, whatever, like, don't give up the 3-run bomb.
Well, yeah, exactly. If you don't like it, then throw better pitches. I mean, there's a level of like you should be able to do a certain level of pimping a home run because you hit one, and if I don't like it, I should throw better pitches. There's also just like the outrageous, over the top, unnecessary.
Yeah, when you're
that-
down by 8 in the
Yeah.
ninth inning and you hit a solo shot, dude, like, just round the bases
let's
with your
stop.
head down. Yeah.
And then, can we talk about Pete Crow Armstrong for a minute? So this kid is like absolutely obliterating every baseball. And as of this morning, he was actually ahead of Shohei Ohtani's 50-50 pace from last year.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. The dude hasn't stopped.
No, he is a freak right now. He had another one today that was just absolutely launched. Absolutely launched.
Yeah, he is wild right now. And then even when he keeps the ball in the ballpark, he's still like a menace.
Yes.
But yeah, and Forrest, we're with you. Don't want to get mocked? Suck less. 1,000% with you. It's
no, it's true.
absolutely.
That is a very fair comment.
Yeah. But
all right. What else we got, chat?
Yeah. Yeah, all these new wave of City Connects coming out. The Marlins came out with one. I love the Diamondbacks jerseys. I love how went. They kept the Serpientes, but they went to the old school colors. I do love that. The Marlins ones are okay. They're not great.
Yeah, they're all right.
But I think I'm starting to like this wave of City Connects more than the first ones they put out. Although the Chicago White Sox ones are a little gaudy to me. I like what they were trying to do to give the Bulls kind of a nod to the success of the city. Like, but
it feels a little cheesy though.
Yeah, it does. I think that's what we're looking for.
Like I get the connection, but it just feels a little cheesy.
What matchup are we looking forward to next week? I think we're going to dive into it on Thursday because I think next weekend with all the rivalry matchups, there's some crazy ones that are going to be good. I think next weekend, Mariners and Padres. I'm looking forward to that one. I think that the Mariners go to Petco Park. That's going to be a good one. What were some of
there's a lot of good matchups next week. So there's Arizona at San Fran. That's going to be a good one. The Yankees are going to Seattle.
That will be good. Yeah,
that's going to be a good one.
They're going right up the coast because they're in Sacramento right now.
Yep. Yeah. So Yankees go to Seattle. Boston goes to Detroit. That'll be a good one. You've got KC Houston. That should be a good one. I mean, A's Dodgers. I'll be curious how well the A's can handle what the Dodgers throw at them.
Yeah.
And then the rivalry weekend, like every one of those is good. I mean, I guess minus a couple.
Yeah, White Sox Cubs. That's going to be a crap.
Cubs should just walk all over them. Cincy Cleveland should be good.
Mets Yankees. That's always good. Yeah. Braves Red Sox should be interesting. Angels Dodgers. No. Astros Rangers. It'll be interesting to see
St. Louis KC.
Yep. Athletics and Giants could be an interesting one too, because that A's team back at I don't even know what that field's called now. It seems like they change it every year. It's not Pac Bell. What is it now? But whatever.
Oracle Park.
Thank you.
Yep. I was like, wait a second, what is it? Because it's changed a couple, at least twice since they built it, if not more than that.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even really think about that, but oh no, they're playing in Cincy. I was gonna say Francona going back to Cleveland. They're playing in Cincy. That would have been awesome. That would have been a pretty cool thing.
That would have been neat. Yeah.
Yeah. The Guardians fans would have welcomed him back for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure that when he does return, he's got that marked in his calendar. That'll mean a lot to Terry.
Twins have been on a heater lately.
8 in a row.
Yeah. So them going into Brewers next weekend, that could be a good one.
Yeah, the Twins seemed like they were just going to like sleepwalk through the season, and they've suddenly come to life.
Yeah. Dude, Candlestick Park. I miss watching games at Candlestick Park because it was always an adventure. The wind was always a factor in all of those games. Always. The fly ball goes up in the air. You weren't sure if anybody was catching it because it was just
and that wind was
everywhere.
always swirling. It was brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
Yeah. Dodgers handled the Diamondbacks pretty good today, 8-1. So tough one.
The Dodgers seem to be settling back in after they got off to a good start and they had a bumpy stretch. They seem to be right back where they expected to be. They're just rolling over teams again.
Got to give the Twins more time to blow it. Are you talking about it or just a hamstring? Because that's coming too.
Yeah. Yeah. 8-2 in their last 10, 8 in a row. They're now plus 19. I mean, they're very much in the same boat as a bunch of teams. Hanging on.
Again, though, like we are discounting that AL Central and the teams that are in it.
It's really good.
Like last year and this year, we're like the AL Central is just they're the AL Central, and now they're competitive. It's just crazy. But yeah, so yeah, they're competitive. The AL Central is competitive.
Go fund me.
But yeah,
there's a lot of the weekend matchups are going to be really good.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that, I think, next Thursday for sure, because there's a lot of key matchups, and we'll hopefully have the pitching rotation set for the weekend too, and see what they look like. But yeah, all right.
Yeah, I hope that those series don't disappoint, because that would MLB really needs that weekend to be really good.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, there, like I said, there's going to be some that aren't great, but yeah.
The Guardians are good every year with smoke and mirrors. They are surprisingly good every season. It doesn't make sense necessarily when you look at the roster, but they're good.
Yeah. They don't beat themselves. They're that team that just plays sound, fundamental baseball day in, day out.
Yep.
Don't make mistakes. They don't cost themselves games.
Yeah, they just play good, albeit boring baseball.
Yep. The other team you have to go in and beat them because they won't beat themselves. But
yeah, John, I at first I thought the rivalry weekend was a little strange, and I really looked at it. I was like, no, actually, this should be pretty good.
Yeah.
McCullers second game back. Did he pitch today?
Wow. Astro, I just looked it up. Lance McCullers gets death threats after poor start versus the Reds.
Oh, yes. His social media was lit up. Joe Espada came out after the game, and he's like, this is unbelievable. Like,
he hadn't pitched in 3 years, dude.
Yeah. The fans were ripping him apart.
Wow.
I thought that was yesterday, but I guess I'm off.
Was it? It was yesterday.
Oh, was this? Okay, yeah. So Espada came out and was just like, it's horrifying what he's seeing on social media. Like, no player should have to deal with that.
That's unreal, man. I said it before. We're all avid baseball fans, but at no point, if my team gave up a 3-0 lead in the 2004 ALCS, would I send death threats to anybody? You know what I mean? Like, the Yankees were gave up on a historic lead. If I was the Yankees fan, I wouldn't be sending them death threats because they did that.
Yeah, I can't imagine a world where your self-worth and perspective is tied up in how your team does.
I mean, that's a tough line.
Oh, he got absolutely torched. Yes.
Yeah, that's a tough line, but like almost every pitcher has been there in some point in their career.
Yep.
Like, you just come out and you just don't have it. You just don't. Yeah, hadn't pitched since 2022. He just came back. His first start, he looked pretty good, and then, just didn't have it.
He hasn't pitched since their last World Series appearance, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2022.
Guy's it's been a very long road back, and he's getting death threats for a bad second start. It's like, wow, people.
It's just exactly, man. Like, and it's baseball. Even if he did pitch once in the, every year between, it's still no excuse.
No.
But the dude just worked his ass off to get back to the MLB. Second outing, gets lit up and just gets death threats. There's no need for that. It just goes back to that whole Jaron Durant situation and all of that. There's no need for fans to do this.
No.
In any sport, anytime, no matter what happens. Kicker misses what? How many times has that happened in the NFL? Kicker misses wide right, wide left. They don't move on to the playoffs. I'm not sending death threats.
Well, but you got to make sure those laces are out, Nick.
Facts.
Laces
and granted, my kicker never missed a playoff field goal. So
that is true. We were spoiled.
Yeah. But like you don't do that. I can't wrap my mind around that. I'll
never understand it.
I can't.
I'll never understand how you put yourself in that position where you are so wrapped up in how your team does.
Yeah. I just can't imagine being a jerk, period. I mean, we get comments on our social medias too for the stuff we put out. And I just don't get it. I really don't. I never will.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Laces out, Dan.
Yep.
Even made the cookies with laces out.
Einhorn is Finkel.
Finkel is Einhorn.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't get the whole thing. Like I've said it before, it's easier to be nice than it is to be mean to people. I don't get it. I really don't. I never will. But that's what I enjoy about you guys in the comments here with us that keep coming back. Like you guys are respectful and you add to the show. Like really appreciate it. So
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. And that's the type of community that we want to be a part of and build. So we really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, this is so much fun to come on and chat with all of you. This would be really boring if it was just Nick and I spouting out baseball stuff.
Yeah, right.
And at the start, it was just me, Nick, and Sean. I don't think anybody watched.
No, absolutely not. But
we still had a hell of a lot of fun, though.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Like going back and listening to how awful we were. Like first couple episodes, like it was painful. Yeah, I mean, not saying we're great now, but
be thankful you found us now and not 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But man, all right. Anything else for tonight, this evening that's pressing?
That's it.
All righty. Well, again, thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome every week. We love that you keep coming back and listening to us and giving us all the support. It means more than you know. So we'll keep the eye on the page for some news and enjoy this week of baseball. We will be back on Thursday. Talk about the rivalry matchups coming up and any news that comes out this week. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, you just missed us here. So I love the Snakes. They're my National League team. We were just about ready to wrap up tonight, but I can always talk about the Diamondbacks real quick. Their offense is ridiculous. They got to figure out their bullpen. Hopefully Martinez comes back. I know Puck's on the shelf for 60 days, so that's going to be tough.
Oh, he's 60?
Yeah, he's on the 60-day IL. So I don't know if his season's done. I don't know exactly what injury that is, but just getting Martinez back to be able to close games will be huge. Ryan Nelson's the kind of it factor for me right now between the bullpen and the rotation to see where he kind of fills in. I think he's going to stay in the bullpen. But their offense is ridiculous, and I can watch them every night. They're fun. A tough game today, but I think they have what it takes. I just hope they can leapfrog the Giants and give the Padres a run because they're gonna have to battle for the wild card. That's where they are there. But,
yeah, and I think we both picked them to be a wild card team. I think they got to fight ahead of them, but they and the Padres are gonna absolutely duke it out.
Yep, absolutely.
And the Giants, they make it even more interesting. That division is just so loaded.
Yeah, but Phoenix definitely hit the subscribe button. We talk about the Snakes a lot. Like they're my West Coast team, so we talk about the D-backs quite a bit.
Nick is an unabashed Diamondbacks fanboy.
I love them. So definitely. But yeah, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. Definitely. So we'll be on Thursday. We'll talk about all the matchups coming up, the rivalries, and all of that stuff. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the women out there that listen to the show. We thank everybody for the support. Thanks for everybody in the chat, and we will see you on Thursday around 9 p.m.
See ya.